I guess this is part 9, and I haven't been counting the weapons. The weapons is part 0. This is part 9. We're going to go to Saturn stage again. Just right once, and you get over here. So this is Saturn stage. Saturn stage has these sort of gravity either reducers or increasers. You want to go left to start the stage, and you get the bigger drop. You can't get this without the magnet hand. It's kind of tricky to do anything with it, but it is there. So at this point, you want to start charging. You want to have a full charge by the time you get here. So you're actually charging through that previous screen. It's going to be slide, blast, slide, lemon. And you're going to take out a hammer guy. Slide, blast, slide, lemon. Ta-da! You also kind of noticed that last one had 0.5G, and this one says 2G, and it's got all these arrows pointing down. Mega Man's full jumps are going to go very, very not high here. So you are kind of doing that there, you know. Take out the hammer guy. That's the gimmick of the stage, is the gravity. There's one other thing to look out for in the stage, and these are the lag pendulums. There he is. So these enemies float around for a little bit, and then you get this sort of kind of sound, and literally they just lag the game, and they do just drop some shots as they continue floating along. But you want to kill them fast so they don't lag. So that buster shot just kind of goes through here, and let's go. This screen, as soon as you kind of fall off that ledge, start holding left. Just start holding left, and you will make this every time. You do want to get a full charge here. Right around here, this full charge came out. It's going to hit this enemy. This jump, you're going to get your fist back about halfway through it, fire the last lemon to kill it, and carry on. That spring, it's not worth killing. The amount of time you're going to spend killing it, you just kind of go. The one thing I will throw out in here, because chat's asking about it, Super Game Boy 2 versus Game Boy interface. Yeah, play on your Game Boy player. You just lose a few frames on Super Game Boy 2, but it's not that big a deal. Here's another lag pendulum. Shoot it with the full charge. Somewhere in here, we're going to shoot to switch to electric shock again. You want to kind of get to your electric shock. It's going to do a lot of damage. So remember, when you're using electric shock, you can't walk. You can jump and you can slide to cancel the whole thing. So right around here, we're going to kind of jump in electric shock, and we're going to jump again, and hopefully it destroys both enemies. Hey, we did it. So yeah, just continue from here. Electric shock is going to be our weapon of choice for the whole stage. Each usage of it is going to use 1 point of weapon energy. So this is, again, where we get into, you need to find some weapon drop somewhere. The rest of the stage, slide, use it, come down here. You did see, kind of here very briefly, it dropped a shot, and it ran into the electric shock, and the electric shock destroyed it. Just want to point that out again, because it is an important thing at the end of the stage that we destroy a shot with the electric shock. Was that the pendulum? It was there. Trust me, it was there. So, doing all this. Here's Eddie, who always gives you weapon drops when you don't want them. Eddie still likes to give weapon drops. We really want weapon drops. Eddie gave us a 1-up. So again, these enemies, it's just hit them once and you can slide to just get moving again. Don't worry about holding anything because they're done. So this guy on the ceiling is kind of annoying. You're still looking to just get by him, but it's going to be land there and go. This enemy up here, if Eddie gives you a weapon drop, use electric shock on him. if Eddie does not give you a weapon drop, I say get up against this ledge and damage boost off of him and continue that way. Save the tick of weapon energy. So this enemy, I'm just going to kind of call out, if you're playing the game on 3DS, we mentioned earlier, electric shock and iframes are kind of interesting on 3DS, so you might have some trouble killing this enemy with one electric shock. I think it can still be done, but it's just something to look out for. There's the God drop. We're good. Again, if you see a large weapon drop in this game for Jupiter or Pluto or Mars, just get it. You did see a delay here. I'm on the screen, and I did actually delay before I paused the video. The delay is to give this enemy a little bit of time to get into range. We're going to slide off the ledge. You saw the little smoke puff over here. Slid off, and then jump. Just kind of destroyed the whole mess. We're tapping A to jump because spikes on the ceiling. Be careful. Yeah, it's actually not that hard to make this jump, but just don't hold A. Here you can hold A. You're in double gravity. Just slide off that ledge. Kind of tap A here. You are on the lookout for this drop because you're just losing frames if you get it. It's not a huge deal if you get it though. It's health. Although you are kind of getting to the end of the stage. Another tap A here. Remember that your gravity is back to normal. So here's a lag enemy. Here's a pit. Here's a pit. This is where you want to kind of use the spark shot the electric shock to destroy one of the shots. You can use Neptune or Venus and just kill this enemy outright if you prefer, but then you have to pause the game and you're losing that time. So instead, you just barely saw it. It's like you can't even really see it. I want to back up the video. Let's see. This is at 0.2 speed. Right here, there's an extra shot. This thing in the back is about to fall down. It's going to hit the electric shock. Right there, it disappeared. So that's a thing. And that makes it so that we don't get hit by it, we don't get knocked back, and we can keep going. So, wow, what just happened in the video? So this was a normal jump up here because this enemy's lagging the game. At this point, I would recommend just holding down to get your slide off. You can hold down and forward and hope that your inputs don't get eaten on the slide and you don't walk into the pit. Again, frames. Prissy will save the frames. The rest of us will just be mortals. Electric shock can go. Saturn is the most impossible boss if you don't have Jupiter. Buster only, Saturn's like impossible. With Jupiter, it's really simple. Slide in here, fire electric shock, fire more electric shock. Eat the hit, turn around, electric shock. Now Saturn's going to, at this point, Saturn's either going to kind of like hold this black hole, kind of shield looking thing in front of it, and the electric shock will obliterate it, or Saturn will jump to the middle of the screen, and at which point you kind of have to jump up here before he kind of time stops everything. And if you're lucky, the electric shock will be held out in place and he will just explode. If he hit, that was the shield pattern. That was that. Jupiter against Saturn, it's like a ridiculous amount of damage per hit. I think it's probably 4 hit points, so it only takes 5 hits to kill him. If you need more hits than that, like if you get deeper into the cycle, it's not a huge deal. You will, as long as you have electric shock to use, you will kill Saturn before Saturn kills you. That's really all there is to it. By the way, this is Rush Jet's only appearance in the run. So I did mention at one point that this was the black hole attack. This is the full screen attack. You saw the distance on that. It's that if you have a situation, and there is one in Uranus' stage where you need to clear out the screen, yeah, you've got some black hole to spare.